Hi guys, and welcome back to Let's Talk Forex. In this video, we're going to unpack 5 reasons why your trading plan isn't working. And more importantly, we're going to talk about how to fix it. Aren't we, Alison?
We are. So, if whether you've been trading for years or you're just starting out, if your plan isn't delivering, it's often because there's something deeper going on.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes the problem isn't the market. There often is the market, but sometimes it isn't. And sometimes it's your plan, it's your strategy, and or even how you're executing it. So let's break it down. Hey, Alison.
Hey, Chris, how's it going?
Yeah, good, thanks. I'm in Spain.
Nice. Sunny Spain.
Yeah, it is nice. Sunny Spain. Yes. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can probably see behind me the sunshine out the window. Yeah, it's glorious. 18 degrees and sunny. It's supposed to be 24 degrees this weekend. So I think I might go to the beach, go for a swim.
So spring's really hit Spain, hey?
Yeah, spring very rarely leaves southern Spain, to be honest. It's a lovely, warm most of the year around here. It's a nice part of the world. It's a nice part of the world. So yeah, I'm in Spain. What are you up to? How are you doing?
Yeah, in sunny Kenton.
Sunny Kenton.
The barefoot capital.
The barefoot capital.
Barefoot capital. Yeah, that's
I
what
hadn't
they
heard
call
that
it.
before.
Yeah.
Really, the barefoot capital. Does that hold true? Is everybody barefoot?
My kids are.
Yeah.
Literally, they never wear shoes. And their schools
Fantastic.
don't enforce it either, which is very nice. Yeah, but good. All good here. Thank you. Yeah, so today we're talking about something very interesting. We're talking about how to get your trading strategy to work. And, a trading plan is really the foundation of your trading. And if you haven't tested your trading strategy, then this is often the first thing you need to do before you start trading and before you start looking any deeper, really.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the first thing we really need to get into here about why your trading plan isn't working. Trading plan is like a business plan, right? If the core product in your business plan is flawed, then no amount of planning or preparation or discipline is going to help you sell that product. And in this case, if the product, which is your trading strategy, is flawed, you're in deep trouble.
Yeah, and we see this all the time. I mean, so many times traders get their trading strategies from YouTube, which in some cases is a good idea. And other times they find it on a Reddit thread or something like that. And then they kind of like the sound of whatever trading plan or trading strategy they've just heard of, and then they drop it into their plan as if it'll somehow improve their plan. But this often causes a lot more confusion than good, really.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it will. And this is the point here is that you need to backtest these things. And even some basic forward testing is really important. If you don't know how your strategy is performed, then you're in deep trouble. And you don't know its drawdowns, you don't know the win rate, you don't even know if it suits the current market conditions that you're trying to trade through.
Yeah, more importantly, if you haven't tested it out and you don't know that it's actually going to work, then you don't have confidence in it. And so you can't really stick to it as a trading strategy. You'll be second guessing yourself all the time. And I know that's something I've really struggled with is finding something that sounds good, putting on my charts and then really second guessing it. So you really need to test it out, as you say, back test, forward test, and see what kind of win rate it gives you, and what kind of drawdown it gives you, and what kind of profit factor you're finding on the setup.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can go into it with confidence. Confidence comes from data and it comes from experience. And if your strategy hasn't been tested, it's just an idea. And it's often, as you say, someone else's idea, and you know how people are with other people's ideas. They really don't trust them. And if you're using that to trade, instead of something that you have confidence in, something that you've data tested yourself, you're stepping over the line there. You're not in trading anymore. You're gambling.
Absolutely. And another thing that you need to really look at is your lifestyle and your personality. You need to have a trading strategy that fits both. And I think this is absolutely key. If you've got a trading strategy that doesn't suit who you are, this is something we've spoken about many times before, If you're a scalper and you like fast markets and you like to be in and out of trades, then, swing trading is really just going to bore you to tears and you're probably not going to make very good decisions. So it's really important to look at these factors.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, let's talk lifestyle first. If you've got a trading plan that requires you to sit in front of the charts for 4 hours a day, but you've got a full-time job and 2 kids, then that's just not going to work for you.
Yeah, I mean, or if you sort of look at, say you want to trade the London Open, but you've got to, drop the kids at school and it's at 8 o'clock in the morning, at 8 a.m. GMT, then you're also going to miss that part of the trade. You're going to frustrate yourself. You're going to come back not having properly prepared, and it's just not going to work. It's simply not going to suit your lifestyle.
Yeah, it's true. And a lot of people, I think, make this. I think it's a huge mistake. A lot of people think, oh, I'm going to change my lifestyle so I can, make my trading plan work. This kind of, and I think the issue with it a lot is that people see it as some kind of self-improvement thing. Some kind of like, oh, I'm gonna going jogging in the morning or something. I'm gonna make my life fit this cool and successful trading plan. But it doesn't work. Your trading is supposed to fit into your life. It's not supposed to take over it. And unfortunately, when aspirations come into contact with real world responsibilities, there's usually only one winner. And a trading plan that doesn't fit your lifestyle in 99% of cases is just not going to be sustainable.
Yeah, it's basically just going to be self-sabotage, really. And it's going to create, frustration in all areas of your life, really. As we were talking about earlier, Chris, with the current markets that are very frustrating and very difficult to read with the tariffs and the fear around the tariffs, got to be very unemotional. Not unemotional, that's the wrong word. You've got to keep your emotions in check and you've got to manage your emotions. And on that note, you've also got to look at your personality. So as I mentioned earlier, some people really thrive on adrenaline and a fast-paced sort of, they really enjoy that pace and quick decision making. Then scalping might suit you. While others prefer sort of a slower pace, being able to look at their trades, analyze them for much longer, make those little tweaks until they really feel that they've got a perfect setup. Then you might be looking more at swing trading. So you've really got to figure out who you are, get to know yourself, and then decide on which trading strategy suits your personality type.
Yeah, and that's right. And again, then this is another thing that if you try and trade against your personality, you're only going to come up short. You're going to make yourself really uncomfortable and it's going to be difficult. It's not going to be enjoyable at all. And you're going to find it very frustrating and more than likely you're just eventually going to give up. So yeah, as you say, I think much better to, from the outset, try and find a trading style that fits your personality rather than trying to force your personality into a trading style.
Yeah, you really got to be honest with who you are as a person, and secondly as a trader, and you got to build your trading plan around that reality.
Yep, 100%. And another thing we've got to look out for with possibly why your trading plan isn't working is there's probably gaps in it. And let's say you've got a solid strategy and it fits your lifestyle, but if there's holes in your trading plan, it's going to collapse at some point when it gets put under pressure.
Yeah, and what we mean by that is your risk management, your trade management, and your decision-making processes. So do you know where you're setting your stop loss? Do you have a rule for your stop loss? Where are you going to take profit? What is your risk-reward ratio? When do you decide to get out? What chart patterns sort of make you look at the trade and say, this is definitely not going to work out? Or have I made the wrong decision here? And therefore, I should get out of the trade earlier rather than later. There are lots of different, and they're quite nuanced. It's not like very obvious things sometimes. You've really got to work the nuance into your trading plan. And you can only really get there once you've got the trading plan, once you've tested and once you've actually been forward testing it for a while and seeing what you would do in those circumstances on a demo or on something like TradingView. It's got a really fantastic forward testing functionality that you can do that on. But you really got to go into the nitty gritty to come up with something. I mean, I wouldn't say go over the top with it because it can then become so many checklists that you just get overwhelmed and eventually just don't open a trade. But get to know yourself. as well, and what you do on the charts in different situations.
Yeah, exactly. And like, you got to think about what you're going to do, like when you're on a winning streak as well. It's really important to have rules in place. Is I think the point here. Like if you're on a winning streak, do you pull back or do you push harder? What are the rules around that? What if you hit your largest drawdown? Do you pause? Do you reduce size? Do you keep going? Have you even thought about that before? Have you even considered these? And so I think it's really important to have these ideas and in your head before you start trading, right?
Yeah, as you said, they need to be answered in advance so that you're not reacting emotionally with your trades. You don't want to not have any emotion, but you've really got to keep those emotions in check. And by answering these questions before you start trading, it's really going to help you, have confidence and react without emotion.
Yeah, exactly. And then the more scenarios that you've planned for ahead of time, the more confident you're going to be during live trading, especially when you hit one of those scenarios. Oh yeah, I prepared for this. And you have that boost of confidence. And then you know what you're going to do next. And you don't have to rely on your emotional, I mean, not freaked out, but you know what I mean? Like you don't, it's in that moment, in that emotional moment where something unusual, maybe bad and unusual has just happened to a trade that you're on. And you're forced to be making a decision based on your emotional reaction. You want to avoid that as much as possible.
And the next thing you also want to look at is your trading plan and, whether you can improve it or adapt it. As we've seen recently, I think a lot of traders are in this boat. The markets have really changed. It's with the tariffs and all sorts of weird news coming out. A lot of people don't know what's going to happen, and so it's quite difficult to trade these markets. And as a result, you've got to be very adaptable in your trading plan. You might have to put more contingencies in place. You might have to manage your risk better. You might have to plan for more volatility than you're generally used to. Or you might have to sort of go with another trading plan. You might have to start testing something else in these markets. And that's something you want to sort of be aware of in general, is adapting your plan to suit maybe you as a more experienced trader and different market conditions as well.
Yeah, exactly, Alison. I mean, when in a plan that worked in a trending market is not going to work in a ranging market. Put it that way. A plan that's going to work in low volatility periods is going to struggle in high volatility periods. So it's really important to adapt. As you say, either adapt your trading plan or get a fresh one. Start thinking differently.
Absolutely. And another thing to think about is, as I mentioned just now, sometimes as you improve, you're able to maybe take on slightly more risk, or you're able to increase your position size. And these are also factors that you need to integrate into your plan so that you start becoming more profitable as you gain experience.
Yeah, exactly. And if, as you say, it's about improving these things. If a certain strategy is outperforming, then scale it up. And if something isn't working, then cut it out. It's pretty basic stuff at the end of the day.
Yeah, and we often talk about sort of doubling down on what works, but if you don't know what's working and you're not reviewing your trades, then it's very difficult to know what is working and what isn't working. So you also really want to, journal your trades, have something to work with, have the data to work with, so that you can go about improving your trading.
Yeah, exactly. Your trading document should be constantly evolving. Your plan should be a living, breathing thing. As you say, and really good point there, Alison, with journaling as well. So you journal, you take it into account. It's a virtuous circle. So you have your trading plan, you journal your trading plan, you take all these notes, and then you make your realizations, and those realizations feed back into your trading plan. Your trading plan improves and then adapts to the situation.
And the last thing that we want to sort of talk about is that often traders jump from strategy to strategy without sticking it out long enough. If you're going to do this, you're definitely not going to see the results you're hoping to see. Trading plans often take quite a few trades to work out. It doesn't just take 1 or 2 days of testing a strategy. You've got to test out a strategy. I know Mark Holstead often talks about testing out a strategy for 40 trades before deciding whether it works or not. And from there, you start changing the parameters, or, changing your position size or whatever it is, or moving your stop loss. But you really need to give your strategy time to work before you discard it and move on to something else.
Yeah, I think it's like most things in life. Building consistency in trading is like building a habit. I was talking about earlier, like going jogging every day. If you start, when you first start jogging in the mornings and you do it for 3 or 4 days, you're probably like, your body's going to be racked with pain, and you're probably like, I don't want to be doing this anymore. And you're going to stop, but you got to be consistent. You got to be like, okay, I need to understand how this trading plan works. I need to make sure that I've fully embraced it. It's going to probably feel unnatural at first. You're going to be journaling every trade. You're going to be checking the economic calendar. You're going to be waiting for your setup in the right place. You're going to probably be second guessing yourself a lot. But it's about making sure that you feel comfortable understanding it.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of time to turn that into muscle memory, like you're saying. If you go from one exercise to the next, if you start swimming the one week and the next week you start running and you do something different each week, you're definitely not going to progress in one form of exercise at all. You're just going to confuse your body, I think. And it's the same with trading. You really need to stick to something, get get it, understand and practice a strategy enough for you to be able to almost carry it out automatically, and to pick up the setups automatically, and to know when it's going to work out or when it's not going to work out. But you have to give it time to be able to get to that point and to be able to identify it on the charts easily.
Yeah, and once it becomes a habit, then the whole thing is going to become a lot easier. And as you say, and then your performance will follow through as well. Your performance is going to improve as a result.
Yeah, so you want to stick with it, give it time, and you'll be able to build on something that you can really refine as time goes on.
Yeah. So quickly, just to recap, why your trading plan might not be working. Number one, you might be using an untested strategy, or you may have incorporated some part into your strategy that is untested. Really important. Your plan doesn't fit your life or your lifestyle, and it doesn't fit your personality. Something to think about. There are gaps in your plan. Is your risk management solid enough? Have you set rules in place? Do you have all these? Have you thought about scenarios, and have you made sure that you have everything in place when those scenarios come to pass? You're not adapting your plan to the changing markets. As Alison said, like right now, the markets have evolved somewhat recently. And if your plan isn't adapted, then you're in trouble. And finally, are you sure that it's a trading plan? Maybe you just haven't given it time to breathe and become a habit and become consistent.
Yeah. So if you've hit if some of these sound familiar to you, you're really not alone. Every successful trader has experienced at least one or more of these issues with their trading plan. And the key is basically to identify it and then to correct it. And that's also a part of the trading process.
Yep, it is. It's trading is a skill, and like any skill, your success depends on the quality of your process.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode, please give us a thumbs up, and please remember to subscribe and leave a comment in the comment section below.
Thanks so much, Alison. I'll speak to you next week.
Cool. Cheers, Chris.